Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you to today's Bhagavad Gita reading session. Here we learn English through Bhagavad Gita with the help of ChatGPT. So I welcome all of you to join me in this journey. So let's begin today's part. First, let me share the screen. I hope it's visible. Okay, we will do the next part. First, we will read the phonetic pronunciation. Then we'll read the English line. Then we will try to understand its Hindi meaning. Okay. So here the English pronunciation will be phonetic pronunciation. When the living entity forgets this eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, he becomes conditioned by material nature. Okay. When the living entities forgets the eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, he becomes conditioned by material nature. जब जीवात्मा भगवान के साथ अपने इस शाश्वत संबंध को भूल जाता है, तब वह भौतिक प्रकृति के बंधन में बंध जाता है. When we forget our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, so when we forget our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, then we become conditioned by the material nature. Okay. In this conditioned state, he tries to enjoy the material world, but such enjoyment is temporary and full of suffering. In this conditioned state, he tries to enjoy the material world, but such enjoyment is temporary and full of suffering. बद्धित अवस्था में जो भौतिक संसार का आनंद लेने का प्रयास करता है, परंतु यह आनंद अस्थायी होता है और दुख से भरा होता है. When we tries to enjoy ourselves with our money, with our friends, then definitely we will become sad by those activities, because of this misguided attempt to enjoy independently, he becomes bound by karma. Because of this misguided attempt to enjoy independently, he becomes bound by karma. इस गलत प्रयास के कारण कि वह स्वतंत्र रूप से आनंद ले सकता है, वह कर्म के बंधन में फंस जाता है. Whenever we tries to enjoy, we will be bound by our karma. These karmic reactions force him to take repeated birth and death. These karmic reactions force him to take repeated birth and death. ये कर्म फल उसे बार बार जन्म और मृत्यु को स्वीकार करने के लिए मजबूर करते हैं. Okay, let's go to the next line. This cycle continues until he revives his original Krishna consciousness. The cycle continues until he revives his original Krishna consciousness. यह चक्र तब तक चलता रहता है जब तक वह अपनी मूल कृष्ण चेतना को पुनः जागृत नहीं कर लेता. Okay, so here we will learn Here we will learn a new word, that is misguided. I request all of you, please write it down and practice this word. Practice creating some new lines with this word. You can type those lines in the comment box also. I will also put all these words that we are learning today. Misguided. Misguided meaning led in the wrong direction based on wrong understanding. Sometimes we say that we are misguided by those people, we are misguided by our bad associations. Okay, so guidance is very much needed in a life. So misguidance is a kind of poison. Examples are the soul's attempt to enjoy the world is misguided. जीवात्मा का संसार में आनंद ढूंढना भ्रमित प्रयास है. It is like a suicide. Acting without spiritual knowledge leads to misguided actions. आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान के बिना किया गया कर्म गलत दिशा में ले जाता है, मतलब हमको पतन की ओर ही ले जाता है. Okay, so please write it down, this word misguided, and try to make a sentence and kindly put it in the comment section. And here the practice sentence will be, trying to find happiness in material life is a misguided effort. Okay, effort. So let's do the next part. Let's continue with the introduction, part 19, Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. English line, phonetic pronunciation. When the living entity when the living entity awakens his Krishna consciousness, he understands his real position as an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Okay, when the living entity awakens. When the living entity awakens his Krishna consciousness, he understands his real position as an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Let's know its meaning. जब जीवात्मा अपने कृष्ण चेतना को जागृत करता है, तब वह अपनी वास्तविक स्थिति भगवान का शाश्वत सेवक को समझ लेता है. Phonetic pronunciations will be, at that moment, all his miseries caused by material nature come to an end. At that moment, all his miseries caused by material nature come to an end. उसी क्षण उसके सभी दुख जो भौतिक प्रकृति से उत्पन्न होते हैं समाप्त हो जाते हैं. He no longer. You can focus on this pronunciation. It is a bit different. Longer. Okay. He no longer remains bound by karma, nor does he have to take birth again in this material world. He no longer becomes bound by karma, nor does he have to take birth again in this material world. वह अब कर्म के बंधन में नहीं रहता और उसे इस भौतिक संसार में पुनः जन्म नहीं लेना पड़ता. Okay. Now we'll go to the next line. By understanding Krishna in truth, he becomes liberated. By understanding Krishna in truth, he becomes liberated. भगवान कृष्ण को सत्य रूप में समझकर जीवात्मा मुक्त हो जाता है. This Liberation is the perfection of human life. This liberation is the perfection of human life. यह मुक्ति ही मानव जीवन की पूर्णता है. Here we will learn another new word. I request all of you kindly write it down. It is awaken. Awaken. The meaning is to rise, to regain, to come into a conscious state, especially spirituality. Okay, to rise, to regain awareness. Examples are chanting helps us awaken our forgotten Krishna consciousness. जब हमें अपनी भूली हुई कृष्ण चेतना को जगाने की मदद करता है. Chanting helps us awaken our forget Krishna consciousness. When devotion awakens in the heart, life becomes meaningful. जब हृदय में भक्ति जागृत होती है, तब जीवन अर्थपूर्ण हो जाता है. Practice sentence series are our real purpose is to awaken our eternal love for Krishna. What is the meaning of awaken? It is like jagrit karna, to rise, to regain our awareness, to regain our Krishna consciousness. It is awaken. I request all of you to please write down to make a sentence using this word awaken and write it down in the comment section. Let's go to the next part. Today we have learned two new words. One is misguided and another is awaken. So let's continue with the next part. First we'll read the phonetic pronunciation. The Supreme Lord has three principal energies: material energy, spiritual and energy and marginal energy. Okay. Supreme Personality have three energies. The Supreme Lord has three principal energies. One is material energy, another is spiritual energy, and another is marginal energy. And we all are marginal energy. द मीनिंग इज परम भगवान की तीन प्रमुख शक्तियां होती है. एक भौतिक शक्ति, एक आध्यात्मिक शक्ति और एक तटस्थ शक्ति. जो बीच में रहते हैं उनको तटस्थ शक्ति बोलते हैं. भौतिक शक्ति मीन्स दिस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, एवरीथिंग is material. Whatever we are seeing is in material world. So these all are bhautik shakti, and Krishna's spiritual abode is adhyatmic shakti. And tatastha shakti, we are jibatmas, we are tatastha shakti because we are we can by our karmas, by our bhakti, we can go to material world. We can stay in material world, or we can leave the material world and go to spiritual abode. So for that reason we all are marginal energies. Here Prabhupada have described everything so well. We don't have to describe it describe it more, but the material energy works under the direction of the Supreme Lord and controls the material world. The material energy works under the direction of the Supreme Lord and controls the material world. भौतिक शक्ति परम भगवान के निर्देश में काम करती है और इस भौतिक संसार को संचालित करती है. Let's go to the next line. The spiritual energy is superior and full of eternal bliss and knowledge. The spiritual energy is superior and full of eternal bliss and knowledge. आध्यात्मिक शक्ति श्रेष्ठ होती है और वह अनंत आनंद तथा ज्ञान से परिपूर्ण होती है. The living entities is the marginal energy because he can associate either with the spiritual energy or with the material energy. The living entity is the marginal entity. Sorry, the living entity is the material in. The living entity is the marginal energy because we can associate either with the spiritual energy or with the material energy, like we have just discussed. जीवात्मा तटस्थ शक्ति है क्योंकि वो या तो आध्यात्मिक शक्ति से जुड़ सकता है या फिर भौतिक शक्ति से. Whenever we tries to practice Krishna consciousness by following four regulative principles given by Srila Prabhupada, we are trying to connect ourselves with the spiritual energy. Whenever we try to enjoy ourselves, enjoy this material world, then we are connecting with material energy. That is why we are what? We are marginal energy. Tatastha Sakti. When he associates, please pronounce this word nicely, associates with material energy, he becomes conditioned. When he associates with spiritual energy, he becomes liberated. Okay. When he associates with material energy, he becomes conditioned, and when he associates with the spiritual energy, he become liberated. इसका मीनिंग क्या है? जब वह भौतिक शक्ति से जुड़ता है वो बंधित हो जाता है, जो जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि में बंधित हो जाता है, और जब वह आध्यात्मिक शक्ति से जुड़ता है वो मुक्त हो जाता है. ओके. So here another word is marginal. I request you to write it down also so that you can practice it later. Marginal, on the boundary in between, capable of choosing either side. You can go here or you can go there. Example, sir, the soul is called marginal energy because it can choose both spirit and matter. Okay. आत्मा को तटस्थ शक्ति कहा जाता है क्योंकि वह आध्यात्मिक और भौतिक दोनों में से कहीं को चुन सकती है. ओके. Then another word is being marginal. The soul can become conditioned or liberated. हिंदी मीनिंग, तटस्थ होने के कारण आत्मा या तो बंधित हो सकती है या फिर मुक्त हो सकता है. Sentence for practice is the living being is the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord, and we all are living beings. We are living beings, na? You are living beings, I am living beings, so we all are marginal energy. So here the meaning is जीव परम भगवान की तटस्थ शक्ति है. Okay, so let's go to the next part, and this is the last part of today's session. Then again we will continue with the next part tomorrow at 7 p.m. You all are invited to join. When the living entity chooses to associate with the material energy, he becomes influence, influenced by the three modes of material nature. You should pronounce these words nicely. Here I'm highlighting it. Please pronounce it nicely. Okay. Entity, and another word is associate. Okay. Another word is material, and another word is influenced, and nature. When the living entity chooses to associate with the material energy, we becomes influenced by the three modes of material nature. जब जीवात्मा भौतिक शक्ति के साथ जुड़ना चाहता है तो वह भौतिक प्रकृति के 3 गुणों से प्रभावित हो जाता है. These three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, force him to act in different ways. These three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, force him to act in a different ways. In different ways. ये 3 गुण सत्व, रज और तम उसे विभिन्न प्रकार के कर्म करने के लिए प्रेरित करते हैं. Under the influence of three modes, he forgets his true. This is true. True spiritual. And this word is identity. Identity. Okay, identity. Under the influence of these modes, he forgets his true spiritual identity. इस 3 गुण के प्रभाव में वह अपनी वास्तविक आध्यात्मिक पहचान को भूल जाता है. कौन से 3 गुण? सत्व, रजो और तमो. मोड ऑफ पैशन, मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस एंड मोड ऑफ गुडनेस. He becomes absorbed in material desires and suffers repeated birth and death. He becomes absorbed in material desires and suffers repeated birth and death. वह भौतिक इच्छाओं में डूबा जाता है और बार बार जन्म और मृत्यु के दुखों को सहन करता है. But when he turns to Krishna and engages, ये देखो, engages in devotional, then service, Krishna personally, okay, rescues. Here the another word is rescues him from material entanglement. Entanglement. When he turns to Krishna and engages in devotional service, Krishna personally rescues him from material entanglement. लेकिन जब वह कृष्ण के ओर मुड़ता है और भक्ति सेवा में लग जाता है तब कृष्ण स्वयं उसे भौतिक बंधन से मुक्त करते हैं. ओके, सो राइट इट डाउन. अनदर वर्ड, influence. The power to affect or change someone's behavior or thinking. The power to affect or change someone's behavior or thinking. The 3 modes influence the mind of the living being. 3 गुण जीव के मन को प्रभावित करते हैं. Devotional service helps us reduce the influence of material desires. भक्ति सेवा भौतिक इच्छाओं के प्रभाव को कम करती है. Sentence for practice is Krishna's mercy means kripa, removes the influence of material nature. कृष्ण की कृपा भौतिक प्रकृति के प्रभाव को दूर करती है. सो यहाँ तक हमारा हो गया. वी हैव completed till here and we have got 3 words. One is misguided, another is awaken, and then marginal and influence. So you have to find out the meaning of it using ChatGPT and then write some you just create some sentence using this word and comment down in the comment section. So thank you so much for joining today and I hope you all enjoyed today's session. If you like, you can like this video and subscribe and share it with your friends whoever trying to practice English. I also don't know. I am also a beginner. I also try to learn English, and it is the best way to learn English with Bhagavad Gita. By this, we will know Bhagavad Gita, and also we will learn English. So thank you so much for joining. And again, we will meet at tomorrow 7 p.m. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.